Hello everyone, Ben Wright here, aka The Mysteries of. Thank you for joining me in the next part of this tutorial series, where today we're going to be talking about transition sounds. If you don't know what a transition sound is, it is a sound commonly used in electronic dance music to symbolize the change from one part of a song to another, or most commonly to create a lot of tension and a crescendo during a large drop, so on the way to a huge drop. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to play you part of the track that I've been working on over the course of this tutorial. This is the intro to the song, and I'm going to show you how I've used a transition to create this quite large drop. Not bad, right? Not bad at all. So just to give you an idea of what we're actually going to be working with today, I'm going to play the actual one of the transitions that I've created just on its own. Okay, you get that? So that's what we're going to be making today. But hopefully the techniques that I show you today will actually give you a good idea of how you can create lots of different types of transitions as well. And I'm going to be making this on the fly completely. So it's not going to sound exactly what I've just played you, but we're going to try and get pretty close, to be honest. So first things first, I am going to create a new track. I'm not going to bother renaming that. And I'm going to take it onto the ES2. Okay? So here we have the ES2. Now, this is just the default setting, so we should just have a single sine wave playing right now. That we do. Doesn't sound like a transition, does it? Transitions are normally noise. So what we're going to do is we're going to close oscillator 1, so there's no sound coming out of that, and we're just going to have oscillator 3. And you'll notice here that we've got a noise section here. So what we're going to do is we're going to put it on noise, we're going to put all the way up to 100, and now you should hear some static noise. Yeah. Doesn't sound good, right? There's no movement whatsoever, it's very static. So what we need to do is we need to modulate that, and what we do is we modulate that sound using cutoffs. Now you can use any type of these cutoffs you want to create all sorts of different modulations and transitions, but today we're going to keep it really, really simple. Okay, so we're going to have it all the way over to cutoff 2, so the blend is all the way over to the right, so it doesn't really matter if we're on series or parallel as far as I can tell. I'm going to turn that on fat, as we always do. And we're going to cut off, we're going to modulate this cutoff against an LFO. So what we're going to do is we'll go over to this tab here, go to cutoff 1 and 2, just for good sake, and we're going to actually modulate against LFO 2. The reason for that is because LFO 2, not only, just like LFO 1, you can choose this particular waveform to modulate against. So this is just a single saw, just one single wave going from bottom all the way to top. We can actually synchronize that. We can synchronize that against 4 bars. So what's going to happen is across 4 bars, this LFO is going to go from bottom to top. And as such, because we're modulating the cutoff against it, it's going to go from cutoff 0, across 4 bars, it's going to rise, 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 and go up to the top. Make sense? Now, I need to stress, if you've got a mod wheel on your keyboard, you can just modulate this using a mod wheel, and that gives you a lot of freedom to move the cutoff up and down as you want. I haven't got a mod wheel today, and I'm going to hazard a guess a lot of people not watching this don't have one either, so that's why we're doing it this way. Okay, let's have a listen to this. So it's quite dramatic, so hopefully this should work. There you go, you get the picture. It's sounding quite dramatic though. It's coming from such a low amount of frequency to very high very quickly. So about off 2 bars, it sounds like most of the cutoff has been released. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to lower this so that it's not as dramatic to come up, the cutoff. And I'm also going to lower this. And what that's going to do is that's going to leave a bit more lower frequencies. It's going to allow more frequency through at the beginning. So it's not going to be so dramatic. So what happens to that? That's much better, right? Much better. What we can also do is we can also we can just add some attack on there as well if we want, just for good measure. I really don't see the point. You might as well throw all of these up and a bit of release as well. Okay, so you're noticing how this is really, really rising. So that's as simple as it can get, really. But it's not got a lot of movement to it, and that's where we can start getting quite clever. So I think one thing that might be quite cool is we could raise the resonance against the same LFO. So let's work with that. So let's go Reso 2, and we'll have this against LFO 2, just as before. And what we're going to do is we're going to raise this resonance up the tiniest bit so that it should go across the 4 bars from down here all the way up. And you should notice some higher frequencies coming in. That is so much more dramatic. I really hope you can all hear that. I'm going to lower this down a little bit so it's not dramatic, but I quite like that. Still not a lot of movement though. In the first sound that I actually played you, there's a lot more movement in the cutoffs. And the way that I did that as well is we can do cutoff 1 and 2, and we can have this against an LFO 1. Now LFO 1, you can just use any rate you want, and you can go crazy with it, to be honest. Again, you can modulate this against a mod wheel, so you can actually have the rate going up and down, so it starts slow and then high. Now, so what we're going to do is we're going to have that on LFO 1, and we're going to have that sort of medium-ish level. I'm going to put this up to about, put this up the tiniest bit here. Hopefully you can hear what's going on. So you see what's happening here? So we've got the LFO working at a certain rate and cutting the sound off just the tiniest bit. So about, let's do that was quite dramatic still. So 0.15. Cool, I like that. Now, you will have noticed in the sound I created, there was also some tonal sounds as well. So it wasn't just white noise. So what I did was I turned on Oscillator 1, and I'm just going to make this up as I go along. I'm going to put saw wave on here. We're going to add this saw wave in, quite a harsh saw wave, and we're going to add the tiniest bit of volume into it. And now what should happen is as the 4 bars progresses, you should hear that tonal sound coming in as well. Alright, but we can go one step a bit crazier. Now, if we click on this sine wave here, press Control and click, we've got all these options here. I'm going to click on all for the sake of it. And what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to, I'm going to have the oscillator wave, oscillator 1 wave, and have that modulated against LFO 2 as well. Bring that up. That's a bit too crazy. But what this is doing is this is actually changing the type of oscillator, or the type of sound, based on LFO 2. Pretty cool, huh? What I'm going to do is I'm just going to add yet another oscillator in there. I'm going to add a sync square wave. Add a tiny bit in here. Alright, so adding a bit more tone to that as well. Now, you will have noticed that in the first track that I played, there was a lot of movement in the pitch of the tone as well. It was a wow, wow, wow. And how did I do that? Now, I could be really, really clever and just do that using an LFO, but I don't want to do that because I want to show something off. And I want to show off Sidechain NES2. What we can do is we can actually, just like Sidechain compression, we can have Sidechain running off of any bus or audio we want. Now, what I've done down below here, so let's close this for a second, is I've created a little comp here, which has got, it's got kicks, essentially, at, I think those are eighths. And I've got that running through into bus 11 with no output. You'll see there. Okay, so I've now soldered that as well, along with our sound. Let's open this back up again. And let's put this onto bus 11. So now we've got sidechain running through bus 11. And what we can do is we can adjust the pitch of 1, 2, and 3, which is all the oscillators, and we can run that against the sidechain. What's going to happen? Well, let's turn this all the way up and see. You notice the alarm sounding, but firstly that's quite dramatic, and secondly the whole pitch of everything isn't rising, which is what happened in the last one. So you know what to do. Pitch 1, 2, 3 against our LFO 2, and again that could just be with the mod wheel, and let's raise that all the way up. See what happens. The pitch should go from low to high. Very cool. I'm going to turn it down, it's a bit dramatic. Yeah, getting there. The last thing I would do is I would try and open this up a bit. So what we do is we turn on the Unison, and what we're going to have 3 voices playing together at the same time, and that should fatten it up. Who noticed the stereo spread then? It's not bad, right? And so the last thing we could do, we could add a bit of distortion, who knows? And why not within the, let's see, we can add some more analog to it to give it that analog feel. Let's see how that sounds. That's pretty cool. So we're going to move out of there, and really final touches is you can do what you want. So I'm just going to do a bit of cutoff as normal, just so that we don't have any really unwanted low ends there. And I think I might add some of my reverb onto this as well. So I've got some stereo reverb by the looks of it, or I'm not sure what that is. I'm going to add some of that as well, just so it has a bit more body. Let's close that. Cool. All right. So we're there. So what we're going to do, I'm going to close all these, I'm going to delete that as well. I'm going to mute the original rising pulse that I did, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to play the entire thing from the beginning using the brand new rising pulse transition that we've just done. I'm going to see if we like it. So let's hear what it sounds like. Alright, as you can hear, that probably needs a bit more work in the mix. So I think I'm going to bring that back to the one that I liked and made originally. But you know what? It doesn't matter. I've hopefully given you a good idea of what you can do just using noise and a few random tones in the S2 to create some pretty dramatic and transition sounds to help with your drop. There's plenty of other ways you can work around with it. I might do another tutorial on other types of transitions, not specific to this song. If you want it, just request it. So, for now, I hope you enjoyed that. I hope you've learned something from me. If you liked it, like the video, subscribe. There'll be more to come. And yeah, I'll see you later.